It's funny. We spend so much time analyzing boomers and debating millennials. We treat Gen Z like they're some fascinating, unmapped territory. But right there in the middle, there's a generation that just exists. They're almost invisible, yet they're the ones holding the gears together. Generation X, born between 1965 and 1980. They're the coworkers who get the job done without a single tweet about it. The parents who seem incredibly independent, maybe even a bit detached. They built the digital world we live in, but you'll rarely see them posting their personal lives online. Their psychology is probably the most unique, and yet the most ignored, of anyone alive today. To understand them, you have to go back. Imagine it's the late 70s. You're 8 years old, walking home to a completely silent, empty house because both your parents are at work. No cell phones to call them, no smart cameras watching the door, just you, your house key around your neck, and a whole afternoon of solitude. This was the reality for millions of latchkey kids. By the mid 80s, nearly 7 million children were regularly unsupervised. That empty house taught them a lesson no classroom could. You are your own hero. It wasn't just about making your own sandwich. It was about learning that your actions had immediate, real world consequences. Consequences that you couldn't negotiate your way out of. Psychologically, this created a high contingency mind because there was no buffer or helicopter parent to save them. Their brains learned to predict outcomes in real time. This is why Gen X often thinks 3 steps ahead, while everyone else is still reading the instructions. They grew up watching the world shift. They heard talk of family values while divorce rates skyrocketed. They saw people give decades to a company, only to be handed a pink slip on a Friday afternoon. If they seem cynical, it's not because they're bitter, it's because they're realistic. They've built an emotional armor. They hope for the best, sure, but they've been trained by history to expect the rug to be pulled out at any moment. There's a reason you don't see them shouting on social media. Gen X grew up in the last era of true privacy. When they messed up as kids, it didn't go viral. It just became a story told in a basement. To them, being seen by everyone feels less like fame and more like a risk. They turned irony and sarcasm into a shield. If you can crack a joke about a crisis, you're still in control. Remember, these are the kids who had duck and cover drills for nuclear war. When the adults in the room act like the world might end tomorrow, you learn to keep a little bit of distance from everything, just in case. In the workplace, Gen X is a different breed. They don't care about fancy titles or corporate slogans. They respect one thing: competence. If you know what you're doing, they'll follow you. If you're just a suit with a loud voice, they have zero patience. Their loyalty isn't to the logo on the building, it's to their own skill set. They watched the economy collapse in the dot-com bubble, and again in 2008. They've been economically traumatized so many times that they don't trust stability. They trust their own ability to survive. They're the bridge, the last generation that knows how to fix things with their hands, hunt through a library for an answer, and solve a problem without asking Google for permission. Now, they're raising the next generations, giving their kids the attention they never had. But deep down, they worry. They worry that in making the world safer and more visible for their children, they've made them more vulnerable. In the Gen X world, being alone with your thoughts wasn't a problem to be solved. It was a superpower. They are the bridge between the analog past and the digital future. And like most bridges, they don't get much praise. They just stand there, doing the work, holding it all together. And honestly, they don't really care if you notice